Hello and welcome to Coffee with Carey. Today, let's play a game of You Be the Coach. I want to include you a little bit more in some of the things that come up with clients or sometimes even people asking questions in the comment section here. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about a subscriber who left a message that she was nervous. She had met a fella online. They'd been talking and texting for over a month because this person lived over an hour and a half away from where she did. So they hadn't yet made plans to get together. I'm not sure if she was doing video chats, which you know I love. I love them even if you're planning to meet somebody within a week. If you can, especially if you're driving any amount of distance, because it will really save you time if you have a video call and realize this isn't your kind of person, or something comes up in conversation, a brief conversation where you just kind of know that it's not going to be worth your effort to get yourself somewhere. But I don't know if they were doing video, but they were texting an awful lot. Lots of texting back and forth, some phone communication that I'm aware of. And now they were going to actually meet in person, and she had a lot of nerves around that. Well, I have thoughts on that. I'm sure you do too. If you'd care to stop the episode right here, go to the comments and let me know what your thoughts or concerns. Maybe your concerns are for this situation, and some helpful tips if you have some of those. That's what I'm going to share with you today. Hope that sounds interesting, because that's what's on the agenda. Let's call this episode 5 Reasons to Not Communicate and Text Long Term with Somebody You Have Not Yet Met in Person. Or something like that. Just as catchy, though, obviously. The number one reason you don't want to do this to yourself is expectations, right? When you do not have a clear vision of somebody's face and all you hear is a voice on the phone, or worse yet, just text messages coming through in a stream, we build up all kinds of expectations for who this person is, what they look like when they talk, what they look like beyond what their pictures showed that they look like. We imagine a lot of things to fill in the blanks for what we don't know. And the more information you have, but knowing that it's not quite accurate, the more opportunity for this to happen. These assumptions can really get out of control and honestly ruin what happens when you actually meet in person, where if you hadn't been speaking in person, you would be pleasantly surprised and pleased with who this person turns out to be. But all this time building up those expectations, that's what's going to hurt. So you should really just talk to this person enough to make plans with them. The message center of a dating app or a dating site is a perfectly acceptable place to have 5, 6, 7 messages each back and forth to make sure that this person speaks your language, lives nearby, wants to make plans to get together within the week. And then you basically should halt communication, all except for confirming that you have definitive plans and touching base before you head out to wherever you're going to be meeting for your first date. Avoid the whole situation that she got herself into and these exceptional nerves by just doing that. That's number 1. Number 2, along those same lines, you're going to be very disappointed on the date. It's going to impact the date if you're disappointed that they don't live up to the fantasy that you've created in your mind. So you're ruining the date even before it begins. Should you end up there meeting this person, they're fantastic. They're never going to be as fantastic as what your imagination can conjure. Why be hindered by reality, you think to yourself? No, you're not thinking that. You're probably just not thinking about it at all. You're just enjoying a conversation, and that's understandable. But this is why it's not in your own best interest if you're hoping that there is a connection with this person. Number 3, the other reason you might not want to have long-term back and forth communications via text or email or whatever type of back and forth you're having is that it's much easier, the longer this goes on, to be sucked into something that is not legitimate. This is often how scammers get their teeth, get grip on somebody, that you just hang in there long enough to start feeling something, and they're good at making you do that in a short period of time, that you don't realize what's happening. Some people don't. And more people don't when they allow that to happen. So I know everybody's saying that couldn't happen to me, or I've watched it happen to a friend, but I could never get myself into that situation. But perfectly intelligent, wonderful people have found themselves having long-term conversations with scammers, whether they've fallen prey to the whole financial implications of that or not. They've talked to somebody who wasn't real and was, in fact, a figment of their imagination, like we've talked about up to this point. So avoiding that would be key, because why tempt fate? Number 4 would be burnout. How would it be burnout, you're asking? Well, let me tell you. Burnout happens when you feel like you've gotten enough information to make your decision whether or not you're compatible, and you haven't even seen this person in person yet. So imagine that you're talking for so long, things come up, red flags, maybe a deal breaker here or there, and not having the benefit of seeing how this person delivers that information, how serious they are about it. Perhaps they were just kidding and you couldn't read facetiousness or sarcasm, the tone in a text message. You can easily make the decision that this person is not for you without even the benefit of sitting across from them or walking side by side and having them in your presence to make a better informed decision on that. There's just too many opportunities for something to go wrong prior to even meeting that would negate the need for a date at all. And you're biting off your nose to spite your face, because had you been with this person, you might find them totally enchanting, and now you've gone and blown the lid off of it without even having met them. Oh, I went ahead of myself, because number 5 was that you can't read tone. Number 5 is it's really hard to communicate in a text message. So as long as I brought this up again, let's expound on that a little bit. And first, I wanted to share with you that I believe texting with somebody that you've just met, someone you are in the early stages of dating, even people in a longer term relationship, that texting is a really poor means of communication when it comes to serious matters. And dating, getting to know somebody, I think is pretty serious business for me. I think it is for you too. I think if you're truly hoping to find your partner, that you want to take every precaution to not blow it up before it even begins. And there's so many ways that texting can go wrong and a person can be misunderstood. And like I said, there's no sarcasm font. And that can be a problem with friends or with a romantic partner. But imagine how easily that can go wrong with a person that you don't even know at all, to be able to read their sense of humor or where they're coming from, to know when they're teasing or any of that. So that's number 5. Honestly, one wrong move and you're off on this whole tangent of nervousness and being fearful that this person isn't who you hoped they were going to be without even knowing that that's true. Turnoffs are easy to come by in a texting situation with somebody you've never met. So be careful, or you too could end up with a horrible case of nerves to meet somebody because of all these reasons, actually. A reminder that with somebody that you've just met, texting is for making plans, not for communicating. Too many things go wrong trying to communicate in text. If you have a few extra minutes, I hope that you will check out this episode right here, 7 texts to never send. And I think that'll be really helpful for you. And if you have a second beyond that, Mom is suggesting you give the episode a thumbs up. So do that if you liked it. I'd appreciate you subscribing so we can see each other again. And until next time, have a good one.